Hey Set Free family, I want to give you a quick thought for this week's edition of Thursday's Thought. And here is the thought, the main idea, the protection of obedience. I want to give you a few scriptures from Matthew chapter 2, which is our chapter that we read yesterday in our daily reading here at Set Free Church. And if you're not already following along with our daily reading, I encourage you to do so, that you are staying actively engaged with God's Word on a daily basis. I want to start at verse 12 of Matthew chapter 2. It says, "Then being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way." So you have to read this chapter for yourself and understand the context of what is happening. But here the wise men were sent by Herod to search for baby Jesus so Herod could worship him also. But really, if you read this chapter, you'll understand that Herod did not truly, authentically, genuinely want to worship Jesus. He had ulterior motives. But the wise men heard the voice of the Lord, heard this warning, and they heeded this instruction. They were warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod as Herod told them to do so. And then here's account number 2 that we see where a similar thing happened in this same chapter. This is verse 13. "Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, 'Arise, take the young child and his mother, flee to Egypt and stay there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.'" So here we see that Joseph was told to take baby Jesus and Jesus' mother and flee to Egypt and stay there until they were instructed otherwise. Why? Because Herod was seeking to kill baby Jesus. And even though the land of Egypt was foreign to Joseph, he was safer there in a foreign land in the will of God than he would be in a familiar land, in his homeland, outside of the will of God. Sometimes the most dangerous place you can be is in a familiar place, because oftentimes familiar places in your life are outside of the will of God. Sometimes God is calling you into an unfamiliar territory, or into an unfamiliar land that you've never been to before, and it seems scary and it seems foreign, but you'll be safer there in the will of God than if you stay in a familiar place outside of the will of God. Account number 3 in this chapter, Matthew chapter 2, verses 19 through 20, it says, "Now when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, 'Arise, take the young child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the young child's life are dead.'" So after Herod died, Joseph was told to take Jesus, the child, and his mother to Israel because Herod was no longer ruling and reigning there. Then the account number 4, the last one in this chapter, is verse 22, and it says, "But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea instead of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. And being warned by God in a dream, he turned aside into the region of Galilee." So this is the 4th time where people in this chapter were warned by God or given a word by an angel, and because they listened to this word and obeyed this word, they were able to be in the protection of God. Had they not heeded the instruction of the Lord, they would have been in a dangerous place. Jesus would have been killed, but Joseph listened to the word of the Lord and obeyed, and because of that, they were protected. So why do I bring up these 4 accounts in Matthew chapter 2? I wanted to bring them up to tell you this, that sometimes God's protection is locked up in your obedience. You are safe when you are in the will of God, but when you are not in the will of God, when we are not in the will of God, that is a dangerous place to be. So I encourage you to seek the will of God for your life and stay there as much as you can. God bless you. We love you, and we will see you again this Sunday.